What's going on, everyone? My name is Henry from Ahead of the Curve 94. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Old Habits Die Hard. On today's show, we're going to talk about two Final Destination movies. The review of the first movie is already posted, so please check that out. In this video, we're talking about the one on the highway and the one at the roller coaster theme park. Let's go. Okay, people, let's read the premise for Final Destination 2. The film stars Ali Larter, AJ Cook, and Michael Landis. Cook portrays a woman who cheats death after having a premonition of herself and others perishing in a highway pileup and uses it by saving herself and a handful of people, but is stalked by death afterwards by means of claiming back their lives, which should have been lost in the highway. It also explores the cliffhanger of the preceding film by revealing the fates of the previous survivors. Okay, people, I shit you not. By now, you've probably seen one of these films. You got the formula. Just before this huge, horrible event's about to happen, someone or something sends one person a vision of what's to come and gives them a chance to prevent it. It's that simple. In this case, it's been an entire year since the last film. Instead of following up on Alex or Claire, we meet our new cast of characters. Specifically, we get Kimberly, who's the star of the whole goddamn thing, and the camera loves to watch her ass sleep. Let me tell you, this intro's kind of weird. It was giving off some real Twilight, Edward and Bella vibes. So this is all on the night before she's set to take off on this huge road trip with her buddies. We have blonde girl, stoner dude, and generic white guy who kind of looks a little bit like Alex from the first movie. I feel like that was intentional. We have the dude doing cocaine, T.C. Carson, who you might know is the OG voice of Kratos from God of War. Yes, he's in this. I call him Sideburns, just a heads up. We have the cigarette lady, bottle boy and his mom. Let's see, pregnant lady. And I think to round it out, you have the douchebag guy from Snow Day. I know, no one's seen this movie ever. I know, who cares? You're gonna be fine. You got your whole life ahead of you. If only. Immediately, the film tells you we're on this ill-fated trip. I mean, there's so many hazards on this fucking highway, and it does not take long to go south. This highway sequence terrified me as a kid, okay? I was probably around 10 or so when I first saw this movie. Sure, I wasn't driving back then, but when I was in the back seat of my parents' car, there'd be trucks with logs on it. I was terrified. Clutching on my seatbelt, like, oh shit. Any moment this could go down. Let's play a clip here just so you can get a little taste. I'm not gonna spoil it all though. You gotta see this thing for yourself. Ah! Son of a... Honestly, people, I'm laughing my ass off at this part, which is something I couldn't really say during the review of the first movie. Now, I'm not gonna go into details, just watch that video. But I'm not the biggest fan of that first one, so the second one really pulled me in, and from the get-go. Of course, this is all a vision, because that's the formula we're going to do with these movies. That one person has the warning, and they've got a small window to fix shit before it goes down. In a way, people, Kimberly's a goddamn hero. Of course, no one sees her that way. They think she's just some crazy lady who's, blabbering about nonsense. But she saves a shitload of people from this pileup. Unfortunately, her best buddies that were in the car with her, she did not get to them in time. I gotta ask you people, who the fuck is driving that goddamn truck, okay? I had to ask the same thing in the first movie when, no spoilers, there's a sudden bust that just comes out of nowhere. What are you doing, people? Like, I mean, does this shit happen for real? Stop sucking your own dick or whatever and pay attention. After all that, the surviving members all meet together at the police station in a conference room where Kimberly lays out the situation. Of course, they're scoffing at her, specifically TC Carson. Sideburns is like, look here, white lady. I got my cool striped turtleneck on and my leather pants. You can't tell me shit. Even the douchebag guy is immediately dismissive. He just bought a bunch of brand new shit and he's just trying to live his life. Turns out this guy just won the lotto. Let me just say, once he goes home, you can clearly tell he is not coming for money. Let me just be real with you folks. He's first on the list. Now, people, I already mentioned earlier that the highway sequence is iconic. But if I'm being real, this right here in this apartment, this scene, this is my favorite one in the entire fucking movie. Once again, I find myself laughing my ass off at all the stupid things that could have been avoidable, especially on his end. One small thing that he doesn't notice, one of those magnetic letters that you used to put on the fridge. And as a kid, I used to have this, and you spell out little cool stuff for my mom to see in the morning. By the way, Mom, in case you're watching, I love you dearly. His dumbass doesn't see that one of those falls into his food before he microwaves it, and then the remaining letters spell out what? I. Okay, it sounds like a little bit of foreshadowing. To be honest with you people, this guy's a moron, okay? But for the situation he finds himself in, he's kind of quickly reacting, I will say. It's not the right moves, but at least he's not frozen in fear. He's actually trying new shit. Def really wants that ass, okay? No matter how long and surprisingly hard, don't clip that, please. No matter how hard he's trying to fight this damn thing, there's a new obstacle he must clear. And he fucking gets through at the end of the day. The place is set ablaze. He just lost all his earthly belongings, but he gets to keep his life. Until, like, all of 5 seconds later, slip. Before we go any further, people, remind me, on the fridge, what word did the letter spell out again? At this point, there's no denying something freaky's going on. So Michael Landis, the cop character, he ends up doing all this research. He ends up stumbling upon articles related to the previous year's events in Final Destination 1. Here's where we find out that yes, Carter's dead and Alex is dead. Carter's death makes complete sense. Alex, on the other hand, it feels like they lazily written him off. Yep, he's just dead in between movies. Something fell on his head and he's gone. That night, Def pays Kimberly a visit. If Def was trying to be subtle, maybe don't reveal your hands reaching out. Like, it's just a little on the nose here. So Kimberly's spooked. When she wakes up, she goes to visit Claire, who is in an Arkham Asylum situation. She's just like one bad day away from being in a padded room. Yes, people, she put herself in, and I guess she's funding all this because this shit cannot be cheap. She basically locked herself in exile, but managed to keep dyeing her hair. Am I right or am I wrong, people? That is not her natural hair color, okay? Bullshit. Kimberly visits her in hopes of getting some answers, but Claire is just giving cryptic ass answers, honestly. So Kimberly storms out, gives her a final fuck you, and just heads off to face her fate. Here is where Michael Landis comes back, the officer. I'm gonna try calling him by his name, Thomas Burke. So now the party added a new member. Now it's Kimberly and Thomas. They deduce that Bottle Boy and his mom are next. This is leading up to another one of those events that kind of fucked with me as a kid. Yes, I feel like I'm just going in a fucking circle here, but it's true. This came out in a time where I was horrified to visit the dentist. Once again, people, this movie builds its tension. There's so many little unrelated things going on around this kid and the mom. It's almost pissing me off that they are lacking peripheral vision, okay? Some of these things, I'm gonna let it slide. The others, not so much. And even after all these small events are happening, the poor kid gets choked out by a plastic fish. What's going on here, folks? But get this, people. Someone steps in the nick of time and he lives for about 30 seconds of screen time. Kimberly and Thomas both arrive and they're yelling from down the street or whatever. Somehow they just knew where the fucking dentist office was. Don't worry, I guess that's somewhere in their files. Of course it is. They end up yelling and trying to warn the two about the pigeons. Bottle Boy runs up to scare the pigeons away and gets flattened like a goddamn smash burger. Holy shit. Clear's had enough. She joins the party, and now we have 3 people. Those 3 get to visit Tony Todd. Rest in fucking peace, legend. Yes, if you saw the first one, or the 5th one, or the upcoming 6th one, William Bloodworth is the coroner, the mortician guy. He, for some reason, he's like the goddamn one you go to if you need answers about death. Of course it is. He's so close to it at all times. How fitting.
Some people say there's a balance to everything. For every life, there's a death. For every death, there is a life. But the introduction of life that was not meant to be, that could invalidate the list.
Sir Bloodworth gives a little bit of valuable information. Apparently, new life can cheat death. Whatever the fuck that means. Wait, wasn't there a pregnant lady that was supposed to die in the pileup? Aw, shit. Thomas, don't forget people, he's a cop, by the way. He has some bullshit charges brought up for her to be held in a prison cell, for her own safety. I know how that sounds, people. Don't fucking clip that or take that out of context. All the while that's going on, the remaining survivors from the group. So we now have the mom of Bottle Boy. Her name's Nora. Let's call her that from now on. Nora, we have Sideburns, Clear, Thomas, Cigarette Lady, and Kimberly. They're all at Thomas's apartment, and Death decides, you know what? I'm gonna make an appearance, okay? I'm just give him a little nudge, like, hey, look, bitch, I'm still coming for your ass. Specifically, Clear. Oh, shit. Death has a hard on for Clear. At that point, Death's like, fuck it, okay? We're gonna put a pin in this for now. Let's go on to Nora. Cocaine Dude ends up seeing a sign, a warning, which is unfortunate timing because this is when Nora and Sideburns are in an elevator with some strange dude holding like mannequin or prop arms with hooks on them. This is happening way too fast and way too sudden. That guy turns out to be a fucking creep, and he's like smelling Nora, unbeknownst to her. T.C. Carson is there, and he's like, what the fuck you doing? I don't want to hold you in suspense here. Nora's time is coming. The group calls her and like, a man with hooks is gonna kill you. And then, she's immediately freaking out because there's a man with hooks right here. And it's like, okay, if I was Sideburns, I'd be like, okay, hold her head, pull the hook. How hard is this? Okay, but she's freaking out. She gets her head caught in the elevator. And this elevator, it's working for Death, okay? We gonna kill this motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie to you people, some people go out quickly. This one, no, her death is pretty brutal, and she's clearly awake for it all. Eugene, he's had enough, okay? Yeah, he's holding Nora's head. He's like, all right, fuck this. He snaps, grabs Thomas's gun, which is a 6-shooter, by the way, tries to unalive himself. We're going to use that word, of course. It's revealed all the bullets are duds. It's just simply put, not his time. Now would be a good time to check back in on Isabella, the pregnant lady. Let's see what's going on with her. Still in that jail cell. But wait, her water breaks. Ah, shit, people. We gotta go. Oh my goodness, this is giving me anxiety because this is a real thing that happens. I mean, yeah, death is scary and all, but shit like that, giving me chills, people. Before we can get to the bottom what Isabella's fate is, we cut back to our core group in the car talking. It turns out, folks, all these people, this group of survivors, they were all originally connected to that first movie. Okay, so it's a direct sequel. So I can appreciate the fact that this is a direct sequel. You won't get many more of these if I'm being honest with you. Most of them are kind of like standalone. But all these people were supposed to die the previous year. So Death is just, just trying to finish up last year's work and then move on to the next one. And I'd be lying people if I didn't say this was actually a fun sequence. It's nice seeing them all work together on the same page for once because, throughout the entire film, they've just been hostile and yelling at each other. So now we actually have a team here. Okay, it's been a while since our last death. Who's next? Cigarette Lady, come on down. She is driving the car when shit just goes haywire. A fucking live wire drops. They crash into some poor people's farmland. She's pinned in the driver's seat with a spike right by her head. Sideburns is knocked unconscious and he's like taken by ambulance to a hospital. Cokehead dude saves a kid's life very fucking last second, which is a good turning point for this character because I believe either previously or after this, he has a small quiet moment with Kimberly. His whole thing is when my time comes, which is likely really soon, I need you to go to my apartment and just clear out all my paraphernalia. Drugs, porno. He's probably got this early 2000s pocket pussy. Just shit you don't want your parents to see. This is a really solid moment for the character. And also, goddamn hilarious, if I must say. Unfortunately, Kat, the cigarette lady, things don't go her way.
Could you be a little quieter with that thing, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll just put it on quiet mode.
That would be good.
Honestly, people, we barely even get a chance to react or respond. Fucking cokehead guy gets shredded right in half. Like, oh man. That was a twofer. But hey, people, remember our plan? We just gotta live long enough until Isabella gives birth. And guess what, people? She is in labor at the same hospital that Eugene is now in. Interesting. Homie is legitimately fighting for his life. He's in the hospital bed, immobilized. Death is like, bitch, we ain't done with you. Give him a goddamn break, Death. That's God of War right there, man. Fuck. Good thing Claire steps in to save the day.
Eugene.
Psych! Her and his ass get wiped out in the ensuing explosion. Yes, people, you might have thought Claire was gonna be the goddamn, I don't know, survivor in all these films. You might have thought she was the final girl, but nope, we have other plans. And guess what, people? The worst part, that baby being born has nothing to do with Death's plan. It's Kimberly that needs to die to save everyone else, which is a concept we're going to talk about very shortly when we move on to the third film, so stay tuned. Kimberly hops in an ambulance because, of course, the keys are just ready to go, drives into a lake, and, much to Thomas's chagrin, she's taking herself out, people. At least for a moment, because Thomas ends up breaking the window and saving her life, but technically, she did die. So, what does that mean, people? You want to take a guess? Yay, we win! Movie's over. Holy shit. Let's get into the rating. Wait, I'm sorry, it's not over just yet. They go back to that farm setting, the one they, you know, accidentally destroyed a little piece of here and there. This is where Kat was killed, unfortunately. They go back, pay that family a visit, and have a nice little barbecue. It's very Fast and Furious style. I believe it's been 6 months, and Death decides to show up again. Oh yeah, people. You remember Cokehead saved that kid? Man, we're not done. Oh yeah, people. You remember. It cuts to this stiff ass dummy in the background. Boom! His ass gets blown up and they serve his severed arm on a goddamn platter for his mom. Credits. Hilarious. Holy shit, people. That's how you end a movie. So with that being said, now let's get into the rating part. Before we move on to Final Destination 3, let's do the damn thing. Final Destination 2, I'm going to give it a rating of added to the collection. Yes, people, this movie still holds up 20 plus years later. As of right now, I'm currently rewatching the fourth one and having a hard time getting through it, by the way. I'm really excited to get to the fifth one because before this little rewatch, this little venture I'm in right now, 2 and 5 were the only ones I really liked. And that's weird because I have a copy of 3 right here. I saw this one in theaters, so I have a little bit of nostalgia for it. But I had to get this DVD back in the day because this one, you can actually alter the movie. If I'm being real with you folks before we actually move on to 3, I don't feel like I have an original take for 2. Okay, I feel like this is usually the one people love. It's either usually 1, 2, or 5. So I'm not necessarily breaking any new ground. But let's get into 3, okay? Let's smoothly transition into Final Destination 3. Holy shit, people. I just realized during this recording, they just released Final Destination 6's trailer, Bloodlines. Alright, people. This is the whole reason why we're going through all these films. It feels appropriate that I'm recording this right now. So I kind of got goosebumps, to be honest with you. I haven't watched the trailer yet. I just found out. So by the time this video is up, check out that Bloodline trailer. Tell me what you thought down below. And now, onward with the show. Alright, let's get into the synopsis here. Final Destination 3 stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ryan Merriman. This takes place over 6 years after the first film. Winstead plays Wendy, a high school graduate who has a premonition that a roller coaster she and her classmates are riding will derail. Although she saves some of them, death begins hunting the survivors. Wendy realizes photographs she took at the amusement park contains clues about her classmates' deaths. With survivor and friend Kevin, Wendy tries to use this knowledge to save the rest of the survivors and ruin Death's scheme. Is it me, or does this sound very much like the first 2 films? Yes, people. This one for sure acknowledges that there's a formula. Essentially speaking, this is like an phase 2 MCU film, okay? We know what to expect by now. And this one knows that its characters aren't shit. Mostly, okay? For the most part, outside of Wendy and Kevin, you have the jock who's a dick. You have the, pretty girls, like popular, kind of stupid and ditzy. What's next? We have the 2 emo people, the edgelords, and the worst character of all, Frankie Cheeks. The theme park slash roller coaster setting, honestly, people, it's a great way to go for a sequel. Wendy is scared of roller coasters, to which we have Jason, her boyfriend. He's there to offset her a little bit. He loves this shit. He's thrilled to take this ride. Actually, he's just there to calm her ass down, which doesn't work. Of course, if it did, we wouldn't have a movie. Before I go any further, I gotta acknowledge Tony Todd does make 1 or 2 appearances in this film. As of right now, he is the voice of the devil at the theme park. Nice one, y'all. Gotta say. Wendy, as usual, catches a premonition of what's to come. And it's kind of disappointing compared to the second one. I don't want to be a dick here, people, but that second one really raised the stakes. And as a person who loves roller coasters, I don't think about this movie one bit when I'm on a roller coaster. It doesn't hit the same. To be fair though, this shit is still fun. I'm having fun with this intro. It's just not taking me on a, pun intended, a fun roller coaster of a ride. Okay, yeah, this one, hey, yeah, it's sad to see some people go, but whatever. I enjoy this, people, but in a way, if you're watching, Mom, please mute this for like 5 seconds. In a way, it's like getting a hand job. You know what I really want, okay? Come on, what we doing here? Like, we could do better if we went further. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah! Show me your titties!
I'm not afraid you.
Wendy and Kevin, our main two characters, are, co-partners throughout this damn thing. And the film wants you to know that because they are sitting together initially for the roller coaster. Ooh, I forgot to mention earlier with the group of survivors. Wendy has a sister named Julie who is very important to the plot. So she was also doomed to ride this ill-fated helicopter. I just said fucking helicopter, didn't I? Roller coaster. What the fuck am I talking about? A nice little callback to the first movie. After the opening tragedy, we have this somber, sad scene at the high school when everyone's just, trying to pay their respects and move on with their heads down. This is where Wendy ends up dismissing Kevin, who, just like in the last one, someone has had to have done the research about premonitions, and then it all connects to Flight 180 and Clear and Alex, all that shit. Wendy isn't ready to hear that, so she says, fuck you, and deuces out. Unfortunately, if she did believe Kevin, she might have been able to save the two hot chicks, who, by the way, their names are Ashley and Ashley, in case you forget. Ashley squared kind of works, but I'm gonna go with the Ashleys, okay? The Ashleys are too busy being hot teenage girls. They go tanning. And I can't really show you any scenes from this from this part, honestly. The titties are out. If you like big fake boobs of early 2000s, check this scene out, okay? 12-year-old me loved this scene, let me tell you. And for good reason. Besides the boobies, yeah, we've all seen boobs before. Shit, I got two of them right here. Besides that, the tension and the build up to what's coming for these two unfortunate souls, as usual, mostly avoidable things that could have just been slightly altered and, things would have been okay afterward. But no, we gotta have an R-rated thrill ride here, and this shit does not let up.
Sorry I was too late.
A lot of it is their own fault, by the way. They should have listened to the shopkeeper. They shouldn't have been just throwing shit about and, yeah, hate the victim blame here, but it's their own damn fault. So people, they are trapped in these tanning beds. For people who are claustrophobic, I'm so sorry you have to see this, okay? Which also I might just do still images of because, once again, those puppies are out. They get trapped with this board in between them that prevents either one from opening the goddamn tanning bed. If that was me, I like to think I would see that and just, slide it out, push up, pull it out for the other one. I mean, man, they get the goddamn short stick, okay? They just have to sit there and suffer until they finally expire. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that it cuts from the burning tanning beds to their twin coffins. That was the way to cap off those events. Sure, they're set up to be, the pretty dumb girls, but they're actually nice people, at least to Wendy. They actually try to, console her in a way. They even ask her to hang out in this ill-fated, tanning event, which, by the way, Love Roller Coaster by the Ohio Players. Great job there. I get it. I like what you're doing, and I get it. Can I just say something though? The Ashleys, why are they tanning at all? They're already the color of the current US president, DT himself. They're already the same Cheeto glowing orange color. Like, if anything, y'all need a break. Emo guy, Ian McKinley. He's named after the high school they attend. The movie will not let you forget that. Ian, at the funeral, has a lot to say, to oppose the final eulogy that the priest gives. He's here to cause a scene and, kind of making some points here, though, slightly. It's disrespectful to do this at the funeral, dude, but, I kind of get his point. Also, Frankie Cheeks, the fucking dickhead that we don't really want to talk about in this review. Dude's a piece of shit and he's disgusting, okay? That's his entire characteristic. He's at the funeral doing Frankie Cheeks shit and he ends up getting slapped, which kind of gotten off light, buddy. Even Def shows up to make a quick appearance here. It pops his head in like, hey, I'm coming. And this is where Wendy reveals that the clues of the deaths are in those shitty photos that she took on that night at the theme park. I'm sorry, Wendy, but she's no Peter Parker. She's a shitty photographer. I'm sorry. Do you see the framing on some of these shots? What are you doing? All the while she's explaining to Kevin that yes, she believes what he was talking about. She nearly passes out. So, Kevin's like, all right, let's go to Fat Burger or whatever the fuck it's called. Let's get some food. Which, honestly, people, that sounds goddamn delicious. I would kill a big, greasy cheeseburger right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Side of fries? That's some good eating. They go to the drive-thru, which is very important for this sequence coming up. They're talking about Frankie Cheeks, that fucking guy, and what in the photos looks like it's gonna kill him. They're trying to figure out what the clue is. Like, is he gonna fall off a ladder? What's going on? Who cares? Because you know what, people? Death is coming for their ass. Not gonna pussyfoot this one. This will make your sphincter tighten up, okay? There's a truck that kind of pins them into the drive-thru. There's one behind them, and then another car. They couldn't go anywhere if they wanted to, and they certainly try. Worst part of all this, the radio just sort of turns itself on and plays like the most creepiest song ever, outside of that song by the Police that everyone seems to love and play at their weddings. It was even in the end of Stranger Things at the big winter ball or whatever. I was just like, really? That? Alright. I fucking hate that song. But this one is properly creepy. And get this, nudge. Frankie Cheeks is in the car in front of them. Holy shit. This is bad. Not for me personally, because I am so tired of seeing Frankie Cheeks. It's his time, baby. And okay, this was kind of inventive. In one of the photos, there's a fan, just behind his head, sort of out of frame a little bit. That, in fact, was the clue. But this seems like it's going to be an easy way to fix. Okay, just keep him away from fans. Done deal. Except, people, there's a fan in your goddamn engine. And this movie decides that's the way we're going to handle this shit. Yes, people, Freddy gets fucked up. And they do his ass properly dirty as well. After he's been dead for a few moments, he's all stiff. And then it lets loose and he's... Man, that's the way to go. Fuck you, Frankie. Honestly, there's way too many photos to go through. You would drive yourself crazy trying to figure out how to connect the dots, between a possible death. There's no way I'd be doing this shit, okay? I'm just gonna stick with the premonitions. If possible, please. Next, we visit the jock. Yes, okay. Let me tell you, this guy is a brother in a 2000s horror movie. Where do you think this is going? Homie is working out in the most bro-ish gym I've ever seen. This is like Planet Fitness's worst nightmare. Yeah, $20 a month for this shit? No, couldn't do it. To give the character a slight bit of respect, I'm gonna call him by his actual name. The character's name is Lewis. Lewis is not interested in anything Kevin or Wendy has to say. They are actively giving him warnings, showing proof in quotations, theories, I guess, not really proof. But dude, some of those classmates just died in freak accidents, and this is where the series is really starting to show its flaws. There's always skeptics, I get that. But when there's a bunch of frequent freak accidents, one after another, I think I would put my pride to the side and at least hear these people out. So yeah, he's rambling on, doing his reps, nearly gets wiped out. Doesn't take that as a sign to maybe slow down. No, he keeps going. So yeah, Lewis is rambling on, doing his reps until he nearly crosses with death. It's a close one, people. Psych, you knew better. This nigga's dead.
What I tell you, Kevin, huh? Fuck that. I just win. That's all I know how to do, Kevin. Baby, I just win.
This was probably my favorite death in the whole fucking movie. Yes, tanning beds are a close second, but man, I don't know. I think I just really didn't see this coming. Probably because I was 12 years old when this came out, and I didn't know about the tropes back then. Young me wasn't as jaded back then. You know, he had a little bit of light in his eye. And just like the film, we're gonna move on. We need to check in on the emo edgelords, Ian and Aaron. Don't you love it when couples have similar sounding names? So cool. Those two work at the home goods store, which might as well be your local Lowe's, Home Depot, you know the type. Anyone who's visited a store like this, you can't help but to see a million hazards around you and just think, this is a perfect place for a final destination. Of course we're here. It just makes sense. Those two are, of course, the skeptics that we're going to run into next. Ian specifically is all zen and calm about death. Yeah, he's talking all this shit until he crosses path with the motherfucker. Then it's a different story. Holy shit. She catches a bad one, people. I wouldn't wish this on my enemy, okay? One of the more memorable deaths of the entire franchise, actually. And, you know, they don't shy away from it. It's like practically done. This is one of those moments where I just had to say, bravo. I hope the sequel, specifically the fourth one, can top this one. It doesn't. Ian, of course, doesn't like the fact that his girlfriend is dead. But dude, you and her just 2 minutes ago, y'all weren't paying attention to shit going on around you. There's a goddamn Rube Goldberg machine at play here. And there's so many loud and noisy things that led to Aaron's death. Even without Wendy and Kevin's help, these two, they were probably ill-fated anyway. It was really hard for me to suspend my disbelief of the fact that this was all being done by a forklift driving itself. A loud ass forklift that crashed into so many things. Even though the death was dope, the lead up to it is really lackluster. And before we get to our third act, Wendy and Kevin, they separate for a little while. They each have their own little side quest they must take care of. While secretly, Ian follows Wendy. Yep. We'll get there, don't worry. In a way, this third act is, it's at another theme park attraction. This is a nice way to cap off the film, considering we started at another theme park earlier. I like this. If not for all the impending death, I think I would have had a great time at this fair. I gotta be real. There's food, there's fireworks, Hey, this is for me. Bad night to be security, though. And that is what Kevin's doing here. Shit, dude, what? Can you take the night off? You're kind of dealing with a lot of shit right now. props to that character because he should be taking the night off. But no, he's there literally trying to warn other survivors and, people on the list, if you will. He's literally still trying to prevent all that from happening. Specifically, he's trying to talk to Julie, who is Wendy's sister. Yeah, we haven't covered much of her in this video, but she's here with a couple other friends who were also on that roller coaster. Let me know if this sounds familiar. Julie is a skeptic and doesn't want to listen until one of her buddies gets impaled by a goddamn flagpole. At that point, she's all ears. Kevin also almost bites it, but Wendy comes in at the last moment and saves his goddamn life.
Now, let us hope for some lightning.
Fuck you, Ben Franklin.
1, 2, 3. But who's next? I mean, we've saved Wendy, Julie, and Kevin. Oh, shit. Ian goes full movie antagonist. He's kind of acting like this, as if he's a god or something. He's so snarky too. Like, I kind of want to see him get his.
You see? I'm not gonna die. It's you, Wendy. You're dead.
Ian gets flattened, okay, people? A part of his, torso and one of his arms are still intact. I gotta say, we're late as fuck into this film. I'd be pissed, people, if I didn't give a goddamn pro to the gore department. They really stepped it up. I mean, compared to that first one, which had a couple brutal kills, don't get me wrong. I just wasn't a big fan of that, but by 2 and 3, they really stepped it up. I'm guessing 4 is gonna be even better. It's not. After that whole ordeal at the fair, we cut to Wendy, and it's been who knows how long later. We cut to her on a train in a subway. If they're going for the same thing as the previous entries, I'm guessing it's been 6 months later or some shit. Wendy gets that eerie feeling again that something is wrong. Not only does she have that feeling, but that goddamn song comes back. And then she starts seeing ads for a bunch of places and events that we went through in this very film. We're fucked. Good thing that Julie and Kevin aren't here, because we don't know which of these 3 are next. But then Wendy runs into Julie. All right, okay, this is kind of freaky, but 2 out of 3, that could happen. 5 seconds later, Kevin is also on this train. Oh, fuck. Forgive me, people. I'm trying to keep the energy up a little bit. This has been a long video. Thank you for riding with me this long, by the way. Thank you so much. I want to say, people, I'm noticing a pattern here. And I know this is an obvious one. I'm not special in any way. This is like a goddamn alien film. In just about every alien film, the threat is neutralized, okay? We killed the threat, we can move on now. Except there's a goddamn stowaway on the ship that shouldn't be here, and then we have to have another fight. Final Destination, it's just doing its own version of that. We have a few survivors that make it throughout the whole film, cutting it close, only for them to meet their ends by the end. And before we can figure out what to do next, the train derails, and one by one, they all meet this horrible death. And that was Final Destination 3. In so many ways, it feels like a complete step up compared to the previous entries. But this one, it does not top 2 in my personal opinion. So let's get to the rating. Final Destination 3 gets a rating of a low added to the collection. Okay, this could have been a high stream it, if I'm being honest with you. Who knows? Once I revisit it again, that might be where it is. But as of right now, 19 years later, this one, for now, will escape with that rating. I still encourage you to check this one out. It's a fun time. People, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but the fourth one, I am 30 minutes into it, and this is rough. So stay tuned. If you like seeing me be tortured by shitty movies with shitty 3D effects, definitely tune in for that review. Who knows? I might partner it up with the fifth one and do another video like this. Who knows? But anyway, people, I think it's time for me to get the fuck out of here. It's been a long day. It's been a long time filming. And I love every single one of you. If you made it this far, please do all the YouTube algorithm things. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Okay, people, that is it. My name is Henry from Ahead of the Curve 94. And I'm signing out, y'all. Deuces! Hey, it's me again, the guy from the thing you just watched. Feel free to check out one of the two videos on your screen currently speaking. You can't go wrong with either or. Thank you so much. This time it's for real. Deuces.